feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Okay, before we get to the answer that everybody knows what's coming, I think this is where I was going to go with this. Since when, well, I know when, regardless of all the things that we amass, the accomplishments we amass, that is not the issue. The issue is the mind frame that comes along with it once we've achieved certain things, that we think that we are better than our men. We think that we are better than our men. I'll give you an example. Well, I'll wait. Let's go.
Would you date a bus driver?
Oh, here it is. When I was in leadership or supervision, and people would ask me certain questions, I would always ask, how honest do you want me to be? When my leaders would come to me and ask me my opinion, or I said, okay, do you want the real answer, or do you want the answer that you want to hear? So it becomes, how honest do you want us to be? Let's go.
Fiverr. Would you date
if he owns the bus?
Okay, look.
He owns it. If he owns the bus,
that's the problem.
Okay, look at the face. If he owns the bus, look at the face, honey child. This is what we do. We have turned our nose up. Let's go.
That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver. But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I could build with a bus driver. I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup, but I could build with a bus driver.
Okay, this is important for so many different reasons. Again, we think that we are too good, and there is nothing wrong with us wanting to pursue higher education. Well, why look down if a man does not want to do the same thing? And it goes back to my husband and me reaching out to him. Why? Because he saw all the things that I had amassed, the accomplishments that I had gained or garnered, and he thought that a woman of my stature would not be interested in a blue-collar truck driver. So men don't think that for no reason. But here's the thing that got me. There is somebody that did a video the other day, and they stated words to the effect, my parents broke their back so I could, sacrificed for me to get to be able to go to school and do this and do that. Why would I want to date someone that is basically blue collar? That would be a slap in my parents' face. I look at it differently. Because there was a time, and maybe it's not now, and to some instances it's still there. There was a time that a man and a woman could make a living or raise a family when he worked at GM, worked at the federal government, worked at the city government, or whatever. And the wife was still working. She might have been a teacher. She may have been an administrator. She may have been white collar. But there was a time Or the man may work in construction. There was a time that our fathers and grandfathers did that. That's the kind of work my grandfather did. So that would be to say that I would turn my nose up at that because I have, I've gone to college. What about the fact that the man has a work ethic? Let me tell you something. Y'all know that Mr. Randolph is a truck driver. I would have dated him had he been a bus driver. Why? What I see in him are the things I saw in my grandfather. He will work. He will work for me, for himself first, but he's going to work. I had a conversation with him when we started dating, or maybe we were engaged or something like that. And I remember asking him, because he's been a truck driver for over 30 years, and I've watched him on the road and watched how patient and calm he is, and attention to detail. And I thought, he would be a great instructor, because we have some people out on the road driving these trucks that are dangerous. And I asked him, I said, honey, have you thought about being an instructor or going into supervision? He said, I thought about it one time, but no, I don't want to do that. There would have been a time that answer would not have been satisfactory to me, because in my mind, because of his experience, I'm thinking that he should want to do this. He should want to be a supervisor. He should want to be a trainer, an instructor. But that's not what he wants. But he's good at what he does. Since when is that a problem? Like Iyanla says, I can build with him. I am building with him. Since when is that a downgrade? And here's the thing. My daughter's father, entrepreneur. I've dated doctors, lawyers, pilots. Never treated me the way that my husband does. Never. So I think I'm in agreement with Iyanla. We got it wrong. We got it wrong. And they're not just talking, people are focusing on the bus driver piece, but I think what she's talking about is in general. Would you date a construction worker? Would you date a truck driver? Would you date someone that works for the city or the federal government? Would you date someone that works for GM? And okay, your answer may be no. But is it because they have those jobs? Because see, we make the mistake of thinking that because we have these degrees, that men that are blue collar, they may not be as intelligent as us. There are many educated fools. We make the mistake of thinking because they may have chosen a different career or job path, that they are not as intellectual as we are, that they cannot analyze, dissect, interpret. No, they just choose to do something different. Now, some of them maybe that's what they could do, but it doesn't mean that they're not intelligent.